Welcome to How to Do a Party from Start to Finish. I'm Judy Doherty, and I want to go through some of the finest, littlest details tonight. And how many of you have already seen this training before? Okay. How many of you have seen it more than 5 times? More than 10? Inky, how many do you think you're at? 50?
I'm going to say 50.
Yeah, I would say 50. Because Inky's been with us for 13 years. When we first came, she was at my very first rally that I did here. And so I would say that's probably a pretty good number to go with. Here's the deal. It's the smallest thing that you do that you pick up at a training that can make a difference to your business. I think about Cindy's box immediately, like sitting here, and thinking about how many conference calls Cindy was on, and that one day she heard about this great dating box, right? And she started doing it, and all of a sudden we're like, Cindy, where do you get all those parties? What's going on? And she was like, oh, I heard this great thing on that training call. And then she shared it to us. And then we started doing it, right? That's what happens with this. You hear the finest little thing that you think, I've never done that before, or I thought I was doing that, or I used to do that. For those of you that have been in Tupperware a while, you'll say that. Gosh, I used to do something like that. So I'm going to go through some of the little details of my party, but let's start at the top, okay? The very top is you want to pack your car early. How many of you work another job? Okay, pack your car before you go to the other job, okay? Even if you don't work another job, pack your car early in the day. Because as the day goes on, what's going to happen is life is going to happen. Typically, when right before you leave for a party, kids are coming home from school, and also, besides kids coming home from school, husbands are coming home from work, you're making dinner, those kind of things that are happening, and next thing you'll get to your party and you won't have something. Now, everything that I train on, it's probably happened to me. So yes, I can remember one night I got to a party and I didn't have catalogs. I mean, you need catalogs for a Tupperware party, right? So I just really learned that if you pack your car, maybe for some of you, you like to have a list. We're still good. You like to have a list on it, that's fine too, but what happens is you get it out of the way. So what do you pack in your car? So this is the hard thing to understand, but here we go. This is what my party has looked like 5,000 times. So what do I take to a party? This. This is it. I take this. The only thing that's going to change are my host gift specials that are below. Whatever is a current host gift special is what I change. This is always going to be the same. So it's always packed up for me. See, that again, it's a different concept. For those of you that do cooking parties, don't change. If it's working for you, don't change. Maybe add some things that I'm going to teach you tonight. But basically, my party is always packed up because it's in a bag, it's ready to go, it's easy to load the car. Okay, so it's the same thing every night. The second thing is the product is not out of my kitchen. This product has been, this is for my Tupperware party, so it's actually my display product. So again, I'm not taking stuff out of my kitchen cabinets to take to a party. It's always packed up, it's always ready to go. So it's very, very easy to do. The tablecloth, you want a very simple tablecloth. You don't want things with lots of colors or pulling things away from your display, because the most important thing is your product here. This is what you're selling, okay? The spice set. I carry spices because I buy them out when they're in the flyer, like this month. They're there and they're on sale. 2 good things, right? So I'll buy out quite a few of those so that I have them to take to my parties in the future. Because for me, this is what I like to do. And you'll have that. Besides when you're brand new and you're like, you can't really understand how to do that, and then all of a sudden it moves on, and you start saying, this is what I'd really like to demonstrate, you'll learn. Buy the things or to have the things that help you have a really great demonstration. Now, I don't ever put spices in my spice set because I do what we call kit rotation. So kit rotation is where you rotate out a product and you pull a new one in. So a lot of times I kit rotate my host gift specials, because I'll let my last hostess that earns it from her party, she can take it, and then I use that money to buy the new host gift special to take to my next party. That's called kit rotation. Well, the same thing with the spice set. The reason is the spices are small and they can get little nicks on them pretty easy, especially if you're carrying them from party to party. So what I do is whenever somebody buys, let's say Jennifer's my hostess and or a customer, and she buys a spice set tonight, I would say, oh, great, you can take this one right home. because I just opened it up. And most of the time, I've just opened it for this party because last night's party took that spice set home. So that's called kit rotation. Again, everything I teach you, think about the party you're doing and how it can help you. All right? When things change colors, like when we went from everything green in the catalog to blue, kit rotation. You don't have to keep that all. So long as you could sell it as a scratch and dent, you can sell it as a display, but I try to rotate it out at my last party. Okay? So in my bag, I'm going to be carrying a beautiful tablecloth that's clean. I have to tell you that because, you know, you're going to get to a party and you're going to have little kids and they're going to, like, wipe their mouths on it and the dogs are going to make sure you wash your tablecloth. Keep it very clean. This is a reflection of who you are in Tupperware. Your display is who you are. So you want it to be very professional. I'm going to have the spice set. I'm going to have the seal colors, right? Right now we have black in the catalog and then popsicle for the month. I'm also going to have my set. It's always packed up. And you're going to see that there's food in it. So this food is not for eating, okay? It's truly a display food. That food's been in there a long time, but it gives help to your customers. Most of your customers are going to be women, and women are very visual, right? So if women are visual, the first thing that they're going to be able to see when they look at the modular mates is they're going to be able to see their 5 pounds of flour in the container. Okay. I'm going to have this dating box. It's going to have in it whatever you're giving away. I never know what mine is because Bill packs me up for a party these days, so I'm always like with the hostess. I'm like, what'd you get? And I'm standing there and she's like, shoot, you know. And I'm like, no, I don't know. But so that's going to be in there. The hostess specials are going to change, but they're going to be packed up. Now, the thing that I do not carry is my ironing board. Do you notice that it is an ironing board tonight, right? Okay, 5,000 parties, I have never taken my ironing board to a party, but I always get one there. Somehow, they have one. It appears, right? And that goes in the coaching process with your future hostess as you talk to her and you say, now, Jennifer, do you have an ironing board? Because that's what I used as a display. Most of the time, they're like, really, that was what you used? Because they don't even know that that's it. And we really don't iron these days, right? So it's you have to make sure. So I would ask her, and if she says yes, I'd say that's what I'm going to be using as my display. If she says no, I'm going to say, well, Jennifer, do you think you could get one from a neighbor that's coming or your mom? I'll give them auction money. And I always give away auction money pretty freely at my parties. So it allows her to have what I need. Now, why do you want an ironing board? I don't even think I have to tell you. Just look up here. Why do I need an ironing board? Because it's the right height, it's the right space. You know, if you're using a coffee table, that means you're leaned over like this all night, and you could scratch somebody's table, and you don't want to do that. This way, you bring it in, cover it up. A lot of times I'll leave that to be the very last thing that I do at my parties is remove the tablecloth because a lot of times hostesses are kind of embarrassed that it has stains on it, but don't all ironing boards look the same? I've seen a few in my career of Tupperware, and they do always look the same. And to me, I don't notice it, but I know that sometimes they're embarrassed, so I'll leave the cover on it to the very last thing. And if there still are people, I'll say something like, hey, Jennifer, I'm going to go ahead and I want to take off my tablecloth. Do you want to put the ironing board back in your closet or wherever she got it from? And we'll kind of do it together. If she's somebody that's kind of concerned about that. And you'll see what I'm talking about. There's just some people that care about that. All right, so that's what I'm going to be taking to my party. I also have my party bag, which is here. This is filled with my catalogs. It would have had my Smidget dating game inside of it. It would also have my game gadgets that I'll be giving away later on to my guests and hostesses. And it's going to have my auction items. So this would be a bag that I would take in. And you guys have new pretty ones. You can tell who's been in Tupperware a long time, right? Don't say, oh, I want one like that, because I want one like you have. All right, so that's going to go in with me. And that's going to be about it. That's it, every party. So can you see the simplicity of this already? All right. So the next thing is, that's what I'm taking. We've packed up our car. Let's get dressed for our parties, okay? How do we dress for our Tupperware parties? Professional. Very professional. Ladies, I can't stress to you enough that when somebody walks in, that they should be able to go, that's the Tupperware lady. They don't have to wonder who's the Tupperware lady. So again, many of you work jobs where you're wearing uniforms, or maybe you're a mom and you haven't been out of the house for a while and you don't have clothes. When I started in Tupperware, I bought 2 outfits to wear. I went and got the black skirt and the blue skirt, and I got the checker jacket and the other jacket, and I swapped them back and forth because I knew that I'm a reflection of my Tupperware business. Besides the display, I'm a reflection. And my first distributor, she would really talk about professionalism. She would say, and don't wear pants. Now, at the time, I think everybody wears pants. Like, dresses are so out of style. But here's what she said, and I'm just going to tell you because it's the smallest thing that makes the biggest difference. When you're in pants, you do things differently than when you're in a dress. The way you bend down, the way you get up, I'm telling you, everything you do. So think about that. Professionalism. When you're in a dress, like, there are things that I stop and think, I can't do that because I'm in my dress, right? But you want to be professional. Professional also, fragrance. Don't wear fragrance to a party. Like, how many of you have allergies? Look around the room. I do not. I've never had an allergy. I've never noticed anything like that. But when I was first trained to that, and somebody said to me, it was my first distributor, she said, don't wear perfume to your parties. I thought, why? It's so pretty, and I have like 35 kinds, and I love them. You know what? It's not about me. It's about that party. Jennifer and her guests at the party, it's so important that professionalism includes not having a ton of fragrance on, or not smelling like food or smoke or whatever it is, making sure, because when you go into somebody's home, you're a reflection of your Tupperware business. And if you have somebody that can't, has an allergic reaction or to smelling smoke or smelling perfume, you've got to be very careful of that. So as much as I love perfume, I don't wear it to my parties. Okay, I wear it to rally. All right. Another thing about professionalism, and this is just, I'm going to call the duck, right? Nail polish on or off. Doesn't mean you have to go have a manicure. It doesn't mean you have to have whatever these things are called, that powder stuff. You just have to have it on or off. It can't be in between. So whatever it is, choose that. Because again, when you are doing a display, what is everybody looking at?
Your hands.
Your hands. That's your main focal point, is your hands. So you want to make sure your hands look good. And that means nail polish is on or off. And that doesn't matter if you're doing a cooking display or you're doing something like modulars. All right, so we're dressed professionally, including the smallest things, not wearing all the big bangles and charms, right? We don't have our fragrance on. The next thing is that we leave on time. Now, I know we women, we always think we can do one more thing, right? Just unload the dishwasher. I know I have time to do that. Or make one more lunch for tomorrow. Or throw another load in the washing machine. But here's the deal. You really should always leave early so that you're there on time. Now, never go to somebody's house early. Okay, that's a no-no. You sit down, and all these people that have heard this training, they're like, I know what to do. I could call on you and you could tell me. But I say, pull out your Stores a Lot box and write cards, right, if you're early down the street. Don't go to the host home early. Because what's she doing before her party? You're shoving dirty dishes in the dishwasher and dirty clothes under the bed, right? We know what homes can be like. That's what your host is doing. Give her time to get ready for the party. So if you said you'll be there at 6:30, show up at 6:30. Don't get there at 10 after and go, oh, there was no traffic. No, that's not being professional. Show up at 6:30 at the time you're supposed to. Okay, next thing I will tell you about is we're going to be there early. No, we're going to set out and write note cards or stuff like that. The next thing is that when you walk up to the door, again, first impressions last a lifetime, right? So when you go up to a hostess's door, I'm not going to do I always do this little walk thing where I carry all my bags and I'm sweating to death because we live in Houston and it's 1,000,000 degrees except for tonight. But, right, and we all sweat and everything, and the lady opens the door and she sees you carrying all this stuff, sweaty, heavy, bags. That's a first impression. You don't want that. You want to run up, and those of you that have been in Star Trek, you know what I'm going to say, right? You run up, you place your bags, you want to get yourself together, put the hand in the hand, ring the bell. And so when she opens the door, what does she see? A professional, calm, put together Tupperware lady. Somebody that says, join my winning team. That's her first impression of you. If you've carried up all those bags, and honest, ladies, I tell you everything from training, when I get to a place and it's on the 3rd floor and I think, I could do this in one trip. You know, I'm right there with you, but I've learned over the years it's so important that we don't do that, that we are very professional. So that when Jennifer opens the door and she sees me, her first impression is a professional Tupperware lady. Okay? All right, so I'm at Jennifer. I'm glad you're my hostess tonight. I'm at Jennifer's home. She's opened the door. She's welcomed me in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to honor the hostess's home. It is her mansion. It is her palace, as all of our homes are, right? And so there's a lot of people that have kind of things they do, whether they be quirky or not. There are things that they do in their home, and one is shoes. So some people wear shoes in their home, and some people do not. And so one of the first things I'm going to say to Jennifer is, would you like me to remove my shoes? Now, how many of you wear shoes in your home? Look around the room. Okay, now how many of you do not wear shoes in your home? Look around the room. Isn't it amazing? It's like a 50-50. It's not right or wrong. What it is it's her home. So whatever she does is right because it's Jennifer's home. So you're going to ask her, and if she says, oh, no, we live in our house, just wear those shoes, then you're going to be in your shoes for the evening. If she says, you know what, I would like you to take off your shoes. Next thing is, make sure, what do you think I'm going to say? You don't have your toes sticking out of your sock on your pantyhose. Oh my gosh, wearing pantyhose now that it's cold out, I'm like, I haven't done this for so long. But you know what? Make sure you have a professional looking foot. In fact, you know what I would do? Is I would carry a little pair of booties. You know, the little socks, and just say, well, I have a little pair of booties that I'll put on, because if she doesn't wear shoes in her home, most likely she'll have something like that on, okay? So again, just think that through, because you don't want to be there and then look down and be like, oh, Judy's going to die. She sees my feet tonight. It's all about our professionalism. All right, so we're going to go in. We're going to set up in Jennifer's beautiful home, and she's going to have my display table, which is an ironing board, right? And I'm going to start setting it up. One of the first things that Jennifer's probably going to say to me is, there anything you need, right? Especially if she has a few more snacks that she wants to be putting together out in the kitchen. She's going to ask, Judy, is there anything else that you might need for the party or whatever? And here's what I'm going to say. Ease it. You got to say this at every party. Write this down. If you're not writing stuff down, okay, just in case we can't get it recorded for you, the first thing you're going to say is, so Jennifer, have you ever thought of doing what I do? Okay, it's a long, hard question, right? Jennifer, have you ever thought of doing what I do? Now, the thing that you do at this point, because you're setting up your display, right? You're getting everything together. She's about to go in the kitchen, but you're asking her a question. Jennifer, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Now, the next part to this is, all Star Trackers, do it with me. The next thing you do is you lock your lips, and what do you do with that key? You throw it away. See, all the Star Trackers know, because we've gone through this, and that is, as soon as you ask that question, you say nothing else. Because what Jennifer's going to do, your hostess of the night that you ask that question to, is she's going to tell you every reason she could never sell Tupperware. Every reason. Oh, gosh, no. Oh, I used to sell Tupperware. Or, oh, gosh, no, I couldn't. My husband travels. Oh, and I have 2 kids. Oh, I work. Everything like that. But here's what you did. You threw away the key, right? He's gone. You can't talk. So you can't say, no, my husband worked. No, I have 4 kids. You have 3, I got 4. Oh, I work another job. You cannot do that, because you know what that's called? Fighting. Okay? You're arguing with her. You're going to prove her right. Or you're right? No, you don't want to do that. Instead, so when I asked Jennifer, have you ever thought of doing what I do? You're going to answer her question. So she says, oh, I can never do that. I work a full-time job. What do you do? Oh, where do you work? You're going to ask that. Oh, I can't. My husband travels. Oh, where does he work at? Oh, I have 3 kids. Oh, how old are they? Ask questions, but don't worry. All you wanted to do with, have you ever thought of doing what I do, is it's the seed. Okay? Envision this potted plant and with dirt in it, and you just push the seed down into the dirt and kind of put dirt over top. That's all you want to do with that question. You don't want it to sprout at all at this point. You're planting the seed to your hostess. Who's your best recruit at the party?
Your hostess.
Your hostess. All right? You can't be too pushy, though. So instead, you're saying, Jennifer, have you ever thought about doing what I do? You throw away the lock and key, and you just have conversations with her. You might say, so Jennifer, is that your children that I see up on the mantle? Oh, is that such and such? Whatever it is that she talks about, have conversation with her. But don't tell her why she can sell Tupperware. Okay, that'll happen naturally later. So now we're getting our display all set up. She's probably gone into the kitchen to do a last few things. What I will do, typically, I don't try to go out in the kitchen and stand where there's food. And I'll just tell you why. It's, anybody really particular about their food? Okay, we got a couple. So if you're particular, you know what I'm going to talk about. A lot of times people touch their hair, and then they do stuff. So if I was to go out to the kitchen where Jennifer's making food, I'm probably like, oh, what are you making, Jennifer? Because I have long hair. It always gets all over, right? You don't want to do that. Let her get her food done. She'll come back into the family room or the living room, wherever the party is. Let her get that done. Just stay out of her food, right? Do some things here until guests start coming in. One of the things that I like to do is I'll take what we call the shopping order forms, and I'll take a highlighter to it and just start highlighting where the module names are. I'll highlight, and if I even have time, I'll write on the blank side, small set, medium set, large set. I'll write that out. I'll do something like that. You could also pull out a note card at that point and write to Jennifer. Jennifer, what a fantastic party. By the way, I really enjoyed being here tonight, and P.S., I think you'd be great at this business. And you take that card and you seal it up, and before you leave, you set it somewhere. Just something fun for her to catch later on after you've gone, all right? So use your time wisely for that, but once she comes back in and once guests starts coming to your party, what you want to do is get away from the ironing board or your display and start meeting them, all right? So when guests come in, one of the first things I'm going to go up and I'm going to say, oh, hi, I'm Judy. And you're going to say, hi, Destina. So how do you know Jennifer? Your friends. That's great. Do you live in the neighborhood? Oh, great. Next person comes in and I'll say, oh, hi, I'm Judy. Some people I shake their hand. Some people I don't. You'll get the vibe, all right? Some people come right out, and some people you can tell they're shy. Whatever their personality is, try to play into it. So I would say, hi, I'm Judy. You are?
Denise.
Right, Denise, how do you know Jennifer?
She's my cousin.
She's your cousin. Oh my gosh, do you guys have a big family?
Sure.
Oh wow, is a lot of people coming tonight from the family?
Yes.
Oh, that'll be great to meet them. Do you live here?
I don't.
Oh great, where do you live? Conroe. Oh good, okay, that's close enough. Yeah, that's good. So what am I really doing? I'm getting to know the guests. Now, why am I getting to know the guests? Because later on when we do dating, and I say, oh, come on, Destina, have a party. You guys are girlfriends. You're going to help out your friend, aren't you? And then I get to Denise, and I say, Denise, come on, host a party. Gosh, your cousins. Think of all those cousins and family that didn't come tonight. You could do a party. Do you see how that helps your dating? Because you know their story. You've asked questions. Don't get to the party and just start talking, and while guests are coming in, have them talk. Where do you live? How many kids do you have? Do you work? How do you know Jennifer? How long have you known Jennifer? What church do you go to? She says, I go to church. All those things. So when it comes dating time, what you can do is you can craft the story of dating to that person. And guess what happens to your datings? They go up. Okay? So get to know people. Don't stand behind your display. I always say like a college professor, like somebody really smart, like, oh, don't stump me tonight, right? Get away from it. Get friendly. Get open. Now, that's going to be hard, again, for personalities. And you guys see me, your leader, you're like, well, it's easy for Judy. Let me tell you, it wasn't always easy. I made myself do it. There are certain things in this business I had to teach myself to do. And one is talking. I talk because I have to, but if I had a choice, I probably wouldn't, okay? But I know I have to, and in this situation of talking and asking people about themselves, I make myself. What would I rather do? Go sit in the corner and just be quiet and listen, right? But I don't. I talk. I find out. So, again, based on your personality, some of this is you're going to be like, I got this, and others you're going to say, I have to really work on that because that's not my personality. But when you get to this party, You want to sell as much as you can. You want to date as many Tupperware parties as you can, and you want to recruit your hostess. Okay, you want to recruit your hostess. I love having my hostess join me in the business because she has seen what I've done. She has seen a party. She's now got datings, most likely. I'll get her datings that night, so it makes it really a win-win. Okay, so now the guests are coming. I've gotten to know them, and I like to start my parties at 7. So we'll say that just for playing here on training times, that we'll say it's about 7 o'clock. And I have this little saying in my head, if you start on time, you finish on time, right? So I know that I want to start on time, but sometimes when you're at a Tupperware party, you may look around and see 2 or 3 people there and think, I'm going to wait. Nobody else is here, right? Because we want everybody to be there, but here's the deal. Don't penalize the people that made it there on time. Don't penalize. So the first thing I'm going to say to Jennifer is I'm not going to go up and say, so Jennifer, can we go ahead and start because it's 7 o'clock? No, that would not be professional. Instead, I'm going to say, so Jennifer, you're still waiting on a couple more, right? And she says, yes. And I say, well, how about this? While we're waiting for them, why don't we do some fun stuff? I'll do the auction and different things while we wait for them.
That sounds good.
She said, that sounds good. So basically, what am I saying?
Starting party.
We're starting. But it's all in the way you say things. See, as a salesperson, you learn, I can't go up to Jennifer and say, Judy said that we should start at 7 o'clock, and it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Because she'll throw you out the door as fast as she can, right? She's going to be like, don't be no pushy Tupperware lady. But instead, you said to her, why don't we do some fun stuff? And that's the auction money. The bottom line is you're starting your party. Time is money, ladies. Time is money. When you get to a party, get there on time, start on time, get out of there on time, get home to your hubby and your children and family and do that. But don't stay and don't get there late. Just really respect the time in this with the parties because the party is your office. Think about that. And most offices wouldn't allow you to come whenever you want and leave whenever you want and those kind of things. So think about this as your office. All right, so Jennifer and I have agreed we're going to do some fun stuff. So basically, we're going to get the party started. All right, sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to stop this tape for now.